Hello, very good morning and welcome to Athavan newspaper highlights. Today Wednesday, 23rd of March 2016. Newspaper highlights read by Edward Udedas Thevasagayampillai. Before going for the highlights, let's see what are the newspapers in hands for the highlights. Daily Mirror, Daily News and Ceylon Today. The Daily Mirror highlighted the following. Brussels rocked by explosions. 34 killed in 3 explosions. 170 injured. France-Belgium border closed. Brussels airport will remain closed on Wednesday. Eurostar has suspended all train services to and from Brussels. People have been told not to come to the airport. No Sri Lankans affected. The security alert has been raised to the top 4th level. 3 explosions that ripped through Belgium on Tuesday killed at least 34 people, according to Belgian media, and raised the spectre of terror once again in the heart of Europe. 20 died in a blast at a subway station, according to 2 Belgian broadcasters. The other 14 were killed in addition to 35 being injured in 2 blasts at Brussels airport, reported public broadcaster VRT. The Belgian Office of the King's Prosecutor described the airport blast at least as a suicide attack, according to state broadcaster RTPF. Sampur coal power plant, an environmental doom and gloom. The imminent threats to the environment of the proposed 500 megawatts coal-fired thermal power plant to be established in Sampur are grave in concern and are not reversible if commenced. Amidst the vehement opposition by environmentalists and concerned area residents of Sampur, the green light has already been given by the Central Environment Authority and other respective bodies to kickstart the coal power project in Trincomalee. Avoid exerting in the sunlight, Met Department. As the maximum temperature had been exceeded by 2 to 3 Celsius points in most parts of the island, the Meteorological Department has issued a notice requesting the public to refrain from exerting themselves in broad daylight. Heat spreads skin diseases. The senior technology scientist Kirti Vikramaratne had said that the unbearable heat that is being experienced could lead to the spread of severe headaches, skin diseases and also viruses. Google launches Street View imagery of Sri Lanka. Google announced that Street View imagery of Sri Lanka is now available on Google Maps. This implies that people in Sri Lanka and around the world can now view Sri Lanka in 360-degree panoramic imagery from their phone, tablet or computer. Secondly, let's move to daily news. Intoxicant racket between Lanka, England busted. A Pakistani national who led a large-scale intoxicant racket between Sri Lanka and England with the help of top officers of the Colombo Central Mail Exchange was arrested by Criminal Investigations Department officers. CID officers found 14 kilos of intoxicants in the suspect's possession. The officers busted the racket following investigations conducted at the Colombo Central Mail Exchange. Investigations revealed that once the intoxicants arrived at the Bandaranaike International Airport, the drugs were collected in vehicles belonging to the Colombo Central Mail Exchange and distributed among drug peddlers. CID's Forced Currency Bureau OIC, who was tip-off about a parcel of intoxicants which was to arrive in Sri Lanka from Karachi, Pakistan via express mail service, had deployed CID officers at the Central Mail Exchange. Finally, let's move to Ceylon Today. War Crimes Probe. UN reiterates credibility call. The United Nations has reiterated calls for a credible investigation into incidents related to the war in Sri Lanka. Farhan Haq, deputy spokesman for the UN Secretary General, said that the UN has clarified its guidelines on what a credible investigation will embody. He said this when asked to comment on a statement made by President Maithripala Sirisena to the effect that he will not invite foreign judges to get involved in the judicial process after investigating incidents related to the war. The Human Rights Council can evaluate for itself how it's going, but we want to make sure there is a credible investigation. Floor price hike to protect farmers. Ravi. Minister of Finance Ravi Karunanayake said the reduction in the import duty concession on imports of wheat was introduced for the objective of protecting the local paddy farmer. He claimed that since there is a surplus of rice in the country, he had consulted President Maithripala Sirisena and Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe for approval before introducing the new measure with the objective of reducing the consumption of wheat flour and promoting a greater consumption of rice. With that, let's come to an end of today's paper highlights. We will come with more news tomorrow morning. Thanks for listening to Athavan News Paper Highlights.